Start the show with that. That's so good. Is that your motorboat, Fosco?
No, that's when I fucking. This is 2 clips. See, there's 2. There's 2.
This guy.
That's not even an AR. That's an AK. So,
all right, ready? Officially, 3,
absolutely,
2, 1. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Business and Biceps. And you better wake your ass up, because on today's show, we're back to Q&A. John and I love Q&A. Thanks for sending in your questions. Yeah, JR15 on the screen. We get to talk about a lot of things, and it's exciting. So, Q&A is fun. I mean, I really enjoy it. Actually, I look forward to Fridays because of it, Fosco.
Yeah, Q&A gives me like mixed feelings, but they're all positive. Like, I look forward to letting people know how stupid they can be, and then I praise the people who really are looking to help themselves. There's people who look for ego strokes with questions, and then there's people who are truly looking for answers. Not that I or you have all the answers, but I think this is fun because it's ask at your own risk.
That's a fact. There's been some ones in the past that have been amazing.
Yeah.
Like John slobbering and spitting because he's so mad when we used to be in person.
A lot of spit.
It was me. All right, hey, we'll start off here. Amino coffee in my cup, Fosco. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Cody Contrell 13 wants to know, how do you stay so humble and so motivated at the point of where you guys are? Like, how you balance that?
Yeah, dude. I mean, put it this way. When it comes to being humble, what reason do I or anyone have to not be humble? Because I've made a couple bucks, because I've created does that make me any better than the kid working at McDonald's? Like, what would give me a reason not to be humble? Right? You turn on MTV, you turn on pop culture, you see these people who act like they're above people, but that's their own issue that they eventually have to work through, because that is like the ego manifesting. So, I mean, it's a good question. It's a good question, but why would I think I'm any better than anybody just because I can do a couple things good? For every couple things I can do good, there's a fuck ton that I can't do good. So just because I may have a nicer car or you're listening to me on a podcast, I'm no better than you. And I know that. And I know how I feel when I look at people who act like they are better than people because they do have things. It's like, dude, you don't even know what life's about. So to me, it's not hard, because I know what I feel like when I view people that put themselves on pedestals and put others below them.
Yeah, and you don't want to ever feel that, like you don't want to ever be looked at like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it gives you a shitty feeling. You're like, I don't want to be that guy. People have asked us over time, and like I think it's one of those things too, John, when people see people that are confident about what they do, that this can get kind of gray a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, confident. Yeah, people sometimes have trouble understanding the difference between confidence and cockiness.
Yeah.
Like, if I say, oh, you want to go against me in this, like you're done. Like that to me isn't cocky. That's me just being fully confident in what I'm choosing to engage in, and you're choosing to engage in. The reason I'm choosing to engage in it is because I know I'm prepared. Sure, I may not come out on top, but I believe to me that's confidence, and there's nothing wrong with that. But cockiness is like, you don't want nothing to do with this, and but you can't back it up because you haven't put in the work.
Yep.
And then you're just a clown and no one respects you. So you know what I'm saying?
Plus, I also think your body of work will speak for itself. You don't really got to tell people. That's the one thing. Like, exactly. I've tried to, especially like I would say like in my local area where I've lived for the last like 8 or 9 years, there really isn't a lot of people that really knew what I did, and I never told anybody because why would I need to, right? And over time, some people have figured it out and asked some real like questions about the podcast or things to let me know like they know what's up, right? And then I'll share some things with them if they're asking. But at the end of the day, like, the people that are always on blast like that, it just shines a light, but it's never not really like respected as well. I don't think, you know what I'm saying? And that's not really where you want to be at. You want people to understand like your craft from, I don't know, just from being good at it, not by you telling them that you're good at it, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The one example I'll always give, because it's the easiest to understand, is the most, from a manhood standpoint, secure human beings I've ever been around in my whole life are UFC fighters. They're the last guys to be aggressive or to try to prove anything in a manly way. And it's simply because they know they have that on lock, and they don't need to prove that to anybody. So they're very calm, and they're not like puffing their chest out at anything, because they got it. So now apply that to business, or apply that to knowledge. If you got it, you don't have to go around puffing your chest out telling people you got it. And when the time comes, okay, then you do your thing.
Yeah, but even like the daily perspective that you kind of talked about early too, Johnny, is understanding that, you know, just because you put in 20 years and you've had some success, and it doesn't automatically like make you any different than this next person. And I think people get so caught up in that. That's why that daily reflection, I think, keeps a lot of this stuff in check. Even if you are super confident and you're winning and you're feeling like the vibe, you know what I mean? Then I go like, wait, am I on that borderline of feeling myself too much? Or is this like a confidence? Like, you know, I don't know.
But as long as you're not comparing yourself to,
correct.
So if you're feeling that, that's great. But anyone, and I don't want to preach, but anyone who has something deeper than just, oh, I want to get this, like faith, right? If you have faith, you know you're no better than anybody, even if you're fucking Jeff Bezos or Michael Jordan. You're just another person who has a talent. Like you're not better than anybody. The problem is when we start, you know, putting ourselves on levels.
You know what? That was the thing I told myself when I interviewed Tiger Woods, John, because I wasn't really that nervous because I had been around already some other people. But I remember telling myself, this guy is a person who's just really good at golf. I mean, I know that that's like, you know, it sounds so basic, but I had to remind myself, like, you don't have to be nervous. One, you didn't grow up idolizing this guy. He's around the same age as you. I respect how good he is. But at the end of the day, it's like, he's just really, really good at this specific thing. He still has had faults. He still has kids. He still has all the normal shit, right? And then, and I went into that interview, and I remember a person asking me, are you nervous? And I said, you know what? I'm really not. And I think it's because I put my brain there, and then his interaction with me was so good because that's the approach I took, which most people don't take. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think that you've got to understand that if you're a person that feels like you're running this borderline, you got to understand that about, you know, your current situation too.
It's exactly what I used to say to myself when I used to go into Hooters, is they're just women who are attracted to men like I'm attracted to women. Okay. Just because they look good doesn't mean they're not a normal person.
True.
And that next.
I love it. I was wondering where you're going. I see Trey in the background. All right. Has the quarantine, this is from Ryan Fitness, has the quarantine helped identify any areas of weakness that you guys want to work on? Has it showcased anything during this process?
I just want to say one thing, and I'm sure you have an opinion on this that has nothing to do with the question.
Okay.
Can people please, like I would say, you know, you've earned it, obviously. Can people?
I know where you're going with this.
Can people please stop putting fitness in their fucking Instagram bio? Can people please stop putting fitness? Just because you go to a fucking gym and work out doesn't make you worthy. That's like me putting CEO, John Fosco's CEO. I'd be a fucking douchebag idiot if I put that in my Instagram. Just stop with the fitness. Listen, if you like fitness, if you like to do it, that's awesome. Why the fuck is it in your handle? Unless, like, you know, like you got a website, you do your thing, and that's how, you know, your handle is up. I mean, you know, I'm just.
I'm gonna tell you a story about this too, Johnny.
Dude, I'm over it because I see it everywhere, and then I see people like with terrible form, the awful body. It's just terrible. But what was the question?
Hey, hold on, let me address that real quick. So I remember whenever I went from Muscle Farm Prez to whatever my new situation was going to be. I remember going through all these scenarios, bro, for hours, Johnny. And do you know the only thing I could get across all platforms
Yeah.
that made sense was Corey G Fitness? I
Yeah.
tried so bad because,
Yeah.
and it wasn't even bad then. You're talking, this is like 2015, right? It wasn't like it is now. But still, it was starting that process. And I was like, man, I really, because it's too general. I was like, but I literally couldn't find anything that I could go verified across all platforms plus the site. And so there we go. Corey G Fitness it is, Johnny. But I agree with you. All
Yeah.
right. Question
Okay. What was
is,
the question?
question and was, has the quarantine helped identify any areas of weakness on us, like that we want to work on more, or has it like, kind of showcased anything more
Yeah.
because of the situation?
I just think we can never. I'll speak for myself. I always take things for granted, and I think it's human nature to take things for granted when you have access to them. It's just what it is. If that's your norm, you take it for granted. It's like we take people for granted until they're not around, and then we realize what we have lost. So yeah, this situation has made me realize all the things I take for granted, and the way I know that it's made me realize that is the little things that I am able to do now during this bizarre time, I really do appreciate and I really do look forward to, which means things I enjoyed during normal times, let's say, I really kind of expected them and didn't appreciate them. So I just think taking things for granted, finding a way to check yourself on all this stuff is great. And I think that's this situation is doing exactly that for me.
Yeah, I piggyback off some of that, Johnny. I agree. Like the things that you like, especially the morning gym stuff, I take for granted forever. As soon as that's pulled from me, it definitely kind of shook me up a little bit. I think that, especially because it's partly my job. I think that obviously working directly with some of the team members, whether it's on the site or with Max or whatever, it's weird not being like in person. Just even like, I know we have these type of things and we have the phone, but it just isn't the same as even just minor human interaction. I think like, I take for granted some of that stuff. And like on the flip side, outside of work, from a personal standpoint, like, man, I don't want to give back the family time I'm getting, to be honest with you. I'm going to have to a little bit because my kids are going to go back into what they should be doing. But I'm really cherishing that, man. Like my daughter hasn't been home this much in years, bro, because she spends 20 hours a week at the gym, like at the gymnastics gym after school. So like that has been like a huge highlight for me. And also it started to give me a little bit look into like, because mostly I work online. I have some human interaction in the morning, but like with no interaction in the morning, no interaction really at the office, like I'm like full blown hermit, like most people should be essentially. And even though I'm an outgoing person, it's actually not that challenging for me. It's actually probably kind of my DNA. And so what I have to do a good job of is understanding to have the proper compliments to any of the businesses I'm involved in, because this is like, I mean, this seems real natural to me, to be honest with you. I'm settled in and like I'm actually cool with it. And I'll be happy when I get some of the interactions back. But it's like it's a little scary, but also not that scary. I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of interesting for me right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. And one other thing I could say is I realize, and I'm a very I mind my business. I'm not an outgoing person. If I don't know you, I don't talk
That's a
to you
fact.
in general. But what I'm realizing is I miss seeing people, and I think what
Yep.
this is going to do is it's going to make me come out of my shell a little bit more when it comes to people who I don't necessarily know. It's interesting. I was checking out at a store yesterday. I was talking to the woman who was doing the checkout, and she's like, "Man," she's like, "it's good to see you." And I didn't even realize that she like remembered me.
Knew
She,
you were.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah." And she's like, "No, it's just being back at work. I was worried about losing my job and just seeing familiar faces." She's like, "Man, it just feels good." And I was just like, "Yeah, you know what? You're right. It does. Like I appreciate this. I appreciate So yeah.
And without all the turmoil, like we just needed that John, because all of us felt that way. I think like where we just didn't, like we talk about this how many times.
I don't know if she was trying to have sex with me though. I mean, just
well,
to be perfectly honest, that could have been the reason she did it, but I don't know. I'm sure I'll return to the store again and find out.
Well, one of the things we talked about on the podcast a lot was people the opposite direction, never communicating, never looking you in the eye. It almost reset that whole thing, really. Because everybody that when I sit, at the house where I record at, I sit on the front porch and work. Every person that walks by says hi.
Correct.
They didn't do that. And I live in one of those towns where most people do that, but they still wasn't doing that like a few months ago. And that right there is like refreshing because I like that old school shit anyway. And but the one thing that's it's so weird because when I kind of look at my personality, like I love doing this.
Do you think they don't say hi to you because they're like, that guy's, a mild wigger?
Yeah, that could be part of it. I mean, I definitely stick out here. But
all right.
I think it's like, but I think though, even if someone's mildly intimidated for whatever reason, or you look different, that's not stopping people when it used to.
Sure.
That could be a great takeaway. Or same as you, John, like you're fucking 220-pound dude, pretty scary. I mean, sometimes, right? Even when you don't know you're being that way. So people are, not afraid to, unless she's trying to get you in.
Yeah, I got you.
Unless she was trying to get you in bed.
She might,
which she might have been,
She might have been,
I
don't know.
Next question. This guy. I mean, that seems to happen a lot to you, so you never know.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So.
This Grigma's at Grigma. All right. How has being direct to customer business helped Max Effort Muscle during the lockdown?
Oh, it's been absolutely fucking crucial. So let's say we're not a direct to customer business. We're in the supplement industry and we sell, which we chose early on not to, through outlets like, Vitamin Shop, GNC. They're fucking shut down. Our customers at that point, if we were in that hypothetical situation, would be programmed to go to GNC, go to their local vitamin shop and get our product. Well, they can't. They can't. Sure. Oh, they could go to gnc.com. Great. And there's 20,000 of our competitors on that website. No. So our customers conditioned, because we stuck direct to consumer for margin purposes and for long-term vision, we conditioned people to come to the site and purchase, and it has helped us immensely. And it's I believe when this thing is all said and done, whenever it is, will we take a hit? Maybe. Will it be mild? For sure, if we take a hit, and we may not take a hit because we're seeing some things tick up that were not as big before. So we just need to be able to keep getting the product.
Yeah, there's definitely been, so to John's point, like we've been able to continue business as planned, but with, our t-shirt guy wasn't open, so we had to get a new one. The product coming from the manufacturer is a little bit slower. The demand and the customer excitement for the brand is actually upticked in my opinion. The amount of stuff we're seeing on social media and how excited people are for the new flavors coming, and like that right there. Now, if our base was half in the stores and a little bit online, kind of like the business was before, it was mostly in stores, we wouldn't have that same type of dialogue going on. Oh. So I just think like we positioned it, I mean, not on purpose for something like this, but we knew this was the move from day one, from previous experiences and us talking out the gate, Johnny and I couldn't be happier with how Max has been positioned during this entire thing. I mean, honestly.
Well, it's direct to consumer is supreme control under any circumstance, because there is no middleman in the communication and or the sales process. It's extreme control. So it's like any situation like this. There's nothing harder, right? Think about how much easier it is to say to GNC, we're going to give you $40,000 of free product if you give us a little shelf space. That's so much easier than building a brand from scratch where people go to a URL that they don't have bookmarked. They never have been. That's hard. But again, it pays off in these situations.
Yeah, no, I absolutely super happy with how Max has done. Thoughts on the outlook and future of the fitness industry for entrepreneurs? I guess coming based off of what we just saw, Johnny, with the gyms and whatnot.
I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing. I think there is a radical, anytime there's a radical reset in a market, you cannot tell me in the coming year, gyms are going to be the same. They're not. They're not going to be the same.
It's impossible.
It is truly impossible. And because of that, there is going to be different places that people go to get fitness knowledge or to exercise, or different ways they organize. There's going to be different patterns. And when patterns shift, there's opportunity. So there's going to be reshuffling of the deck. There's going to be more opportunity. I think someone like Corey, who's in a position to just essentially be in like under the umbrella of fitness, and then you can shape shift with it. And again, communicate directly with the end user is in the absolute right spot, because we don't know where it's going to go, but we do know gyms aren't going to be the same. So I think there's a ton of opportunity. And I think, listen, this whole personal trainer thing, if you're a personal trainer, if you think you have skills, you need to get digital. You need to get digital fast, and you need to understand that the in-person stuff needs to transfer over to the online stuff. And this isn't some major new business opportunity. This is just understanding that that's how people are likely to communicate and acceptably get trained moving forward.
You definitely got to have those options, right? Because even like back in the day, Johnny, I remember seeing somebody 2 times a week in the gym, and they were like, you know, what's the other 2 days that I can be doing when I'm not here? I even had a system like before, like the internet was super popular like this. So I've always been trying to like, you know, have those type of things available. But what I think really, one, it weeds out a lot of people, which we've always talked about whenever you have something dramatic. And 2, like, here's what I like. And just like with Max Effort, when you're talking to the actual customer one-on-one, you know, whether it's DMs or on, you know, whatever online, you get the real feedback. Like, I didn't realize a bunch of things. How many people only had bands at their house? How many people didn't have any pieces of equipment at all? How many people only have dumbbells? How many people have bar? Like, I got like a real time last 6 weeks of interaction with a boatload of people to understand what's people really have available, and they couldn't really buy anything because everything was taken up. And then also
another opportunity.
Exactly. That's where I'm going. Now, where's now everyone, just like the gun stores, no different. They're going to be loading up on these certain items because they're, 1, maybe there's a second wave. 2, they don't ever want to be put in that position again, right? To where I can't fucking work out for 6 weeks.
I can't get ammunition. What the fuck?
Exactly. So it's actually going to change the fitness industry a ton, in my opinion. And because I still have an actual physical location, this is actually the next question, John, is
I want to say one thing in terms of fake news. The gym that I work out down here is complete fake news, and watch out if you work out at a gym that's similar. So they bill me monthly, these motherfuckers, and they bill me like $80 a month. Corey knows the fucking gym.
Yeah.
$80 a month.
It's a medical college.
They haven't stopped billing me, and they stand by it because they're fucking fitness classes that like 70-year-olds who wear, you know, spandex and bandanas, you know, with their flea bags hanging out, like that 70-years do. They say, oh, those are available online. Bitch, I work out downstairs where the weights are. I don't do. So you're going to hit me for $80?
Wow.
And they stand by it, and they stand the nerve. So if your gym has that nerve, yeah. Let's create a militia or something.
So we, you know, I can speak for what we do at Old School, which has way less members than that spot. But what we did was say, look, if you want access to our online stuff that you don't have access to, whether it's Dustin's ebooks or my online site, you want us to put it on hold. Do you want, like, we gave everyone options, you know what I mean? And most people.
Oh, are you a faker? Are you still billing people over at Old School?
Oh, we're billing people. Yeah, absolutely.
For what?
No, we basically gave them other options, and people wanted us to just keep supporting.
Oh, so like Corey G Fitness and stuff like that.
Yeah. So like I said, Dustin gave them whatever ebooks they wanted. I gave them access to the site for free. And basically they just want to keep supporting the gym, that just because of the way they like it. So yeah, we gave everybody options.
Like you're giving that. Okay. So they have the option to pull out.
Yeah, they have an option to put it on pause or cancel it or do whatever if they want. Yeah, but most people chose not to. And
that's good. That's good.
You know, so my mom does the customer service for that too. So she, you know, we reached
Your
out
mom's
on
like a fucking CEO now. Jesus.
Hey, she's an OG on the back end, bro.
She's a gangster.
She is a gangster. So John, so the next question was, how do you think, what's the best solution to reopen the gyms? Now we're talking about how we're, you know, the situations of them being closed, but as they reopen, what's in your mind of how it should operate? This is, I think this is going to be fucking difficult.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, so this goes back to, okay, so I'm going to answer your question, but I'm going to take it somewhere. So Costco announced that you cannot shop in their stores if you as a customer do not come in with a mask on. That's I mean, that's a huge move, because that's going to see there's a huge part of our country
doesn't believe.
No. Their only argument to things is this: don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what to do. And those people, okay. So to answer your question, in regards to gyms, I think if this is about personal responsibility. So it has to be, are you comfortable being here? Okay, if you're comfortable being here, you need to sign a liability waiver, obviously, that holds the gym free and clear. And every other person who wants to come in and work out, you know, the gym can set protocols of cleaning, and maybe the members clean up after them, whatever the gym set. But it's going to come down to the individual that's walking through the door that says, I want to work out. And they essentially need to sign away their lives, because the gyms are just saying, you don't have to be here. But if you want to be here, you're saying you're comfortable and you're holding us harmless. You know what I'm saying? And then if those people want to go work out, great, work out. But I just feel like, there's you know, if a gym tried to institute something like you got to wear a mask, like there's a hard group of people who just will not budge on anything.
Yeah, and that's where, like, you know, me and D have went back and forth a bunch. I'm actually kind of glad we weren't, this is going to sound weird because I want to be at the gym, but that we weren't able to open yet as of May 1st, like that it's a little bit longer down the line, because I think there needs to be a little bit more defined protocols of how we would reopen it, and we need some.
And that puts you in a weird spot, right? Because you may not be comfortable,
of course,
with the idea of what I just said.
No, you know, and that's and honestly, John, I go back and forth because I'm against fucking lifting gloves. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like at the bare.
You love neoprene lifting gloves. You deadlift with neoprene lifting gloves.
The ones with the net on the back,
like Jeremy Hanna when he squats. You're just big into it.
This guy. So you know, so that we're both like really going back and forth on, you know, waiting on some leadership on how we do it, how we feel comfortable doing it. And yeah, if we took a stand and it was able to open and we didn't open, we're going to catch blowback. If we don't open it in the proper fashion, some people could, you know, have problems. So it's like, it's a fucking, for a guy,
you got to put it on you got to put it on the individual.
Yeah, I agree with that. So really that's what it comes down to, because to police what really needs to be policed is going to be virtually impossible. John,
hey, just so you know, if you want to get a thermometer on Amazon, I believe they deliver in July. So one of those thermometers, so let's say if you wanted the 4 a.m. crew to assemble, but you were like, I don't want other members here, 4 a.m. crew, whatever, and you wanted just to do that quick, you know, thermometer just to make sure everyone's straight. Yeah. I believe you have to wait till July. So,
jeez. All right, next question.
Hey, actually, ask the question. I'll show you our guidelines here that we're putting.
No, go ahead, Johnny.
Can you grab the laminate, please? Thank you.
Got it laminated, huh?
Assistant. Yes.
Lace up.
No, it would be
Ponte.
No, golden era Swole Ponte. He was on the cover of it.
Yes, he was.
Assistant, can you please hold this in front of the fucking camera so people can read it? Okay.
We can't read it.
Oh, you can't read it?
No. Can you read it though?
God damn it! I just fucking spilled. Shit. Can you get some paper towels? Fuck. Fucking grape too. My wallet. Fucking plastic.
This guy.
All right.
Live and right to you. Spilling out.
Damn it. Fucking spilling on the fucking. Oh, it's on my ass right now. Fuck. God damn it, Trey.
Trey, leave all this in.
Damn it, Trey.
Leave all this in, Trey.
Fucking A, Trey. You know, you giving out.
All right, I'm gonna ask the question. Why you're
ask the question.
Why you're
fuck this whole thing up.
I don't know what you got going on over there, but I'm asking the question.
God damn it, Ponte.
All right. Advice to a new investor, John.
Okay.
If I have a decent amount of liquid assets. I've hired a trusted advisor, but I have really no experience. So like as the market sits today and I'm looking at it, you know, what would your kind of response to that be?
I don't believe in trusting advisors. So when you say you've hired a trusted advisor, what's that based on?
I would base this on, it's probably somebody referred to him that he trusted.
So you shouldn't trust him. Number one, you should use him for questions, you know what I'm saying? And then you should go check out his answers to make sure they're not fake news. Because when you're talking about putting your money at risk, I don't trust fucking anybody. I'm going to make my own decisions, but I do want someone who's been there that I can ask questions to so I can learn how to manage my money better. But advice to an investor is especially, we'll say it again. The market would rather take bad news than deal with uncertainty. We are in uncertain times. This is an amazing time to trade. And when I say trade, I mean buy something on Monday, sell it on Wednesday. Because this market's running wild, right? I don't know what it is right now. Today it was down 500 points at the open, whatever. Yesterday, it's all over the fucking place. And stocks are going up 20% in a day. People need to understand, if the richest person in the world who has access to everybody, if somebody said to them, I'll give you 20% on your money every year, they would say, done deal. Here's my fucking money. Game over. So when I say it's trading climate and stocks are going up 20, 30, 40% in a day or two, understand that if you could get that return in a year on your money, that is something that every fucking buddy, the best fund managers, the best hedge fund managers, they return like that. So this is crazy times, but also it's swinging back and forth. So right now, for a young investor, it's fucking dangerous. It's fucking dangerous. If you want to place long bets in things that, even if COVID continues to wreak havoc or whatever, their business stays in shape. Like it's the most generic example, but I'll keep pounding it. You know,
Amazon.
How the fuck are you going to fuck with Amazon? How are you going to fuck with Amazon? Here's the only argument against Amazon, right? Well, they're made for this COVID thing. Everything's going to go up, and then when COVID goes away, their numbers are going to come down. Well, I believe more people are being exposed to their service.
Correct.
And their service is so untouchable that it's ridiculous. And here's what I want you to remember about Amazon. Amazon declined to profit maximally so far on this incident because they suspended the prime shipping of all goods outside of necessary goods or whatever. So those are smaller margin goods. Okay. So they just reported their first quarter. Their top line was astronomical. It's something no one's ever fucking
73 billion or something.
75.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the street expected 73 and then they made 75. It's like,
right. But do you know what the street didn't like? And this is another, I just want to give this guy information.
Sure. Okay?
So here's why the streets, people can look at them as evil. So Amazon beat top line. Everyone knew they were going to take a profit hit because of they were only shipping essential goods, lower profit margins. Anyways, the reason they took a mild hit, and it's a very mild hit, I actually bought some more this morning.
So did I, John. That's funny.
That's
funny.
The reason they took a mild hit is because Bezos said, here's the deal. We're projecting $4 billion or more in gross profit for fucking Q2. And we're going to spend that all. We're going to spend that all on the safety of this company and the safety of our employees and implementing all this new stuff.
Yep.
And that is the absolute right thing to do, because when you have 675,000 employees, your business has a big fucking problem if half of them are sick or whatever. So Bezos said basically to the shareholder, sit your ass down. If you're in for the long haul, let's go. But here's where the fucking profit's going. The street didn't like that. See, the street didn't like that. And understand that the street reacts to short-term stuff because it wants to see the next quarter and the next quarter. Yeah. Bezos said, sit your ass down. I like that.
That
because
is cool.
My money that goes into Amazon ain't moving. The worst thing here, I'll tell you, the worst mistake I ever made was selling Amazon early in March. When the market that was the worst mistake I've ever made. I didn't sell all my position. I sold a good amount of it. That was the worst move I've ever made. If you want to be long, you want to invest in people like him who aren't trying to game the street quarter by quarter. They are looking to build a huge sustainable business with an infrastructure like that. So here, don't trust anybody, ask questions, and then follow up with research. I don't even want to give you stock advice because I'm not qualified.
Yeah. And that's kind of how I learned over time. Like I had somebody that was referred to me, and then, I would always ask them questions, bounce back, and as I start to understand more, then I had, even like more to say, like, okay, hey, this is in that bond over there, but I'd rather have a dividend stock. Like, that's kind of the process. Over a 5-year period, I started to learn more and more, but it always came with a ton of questions, like John said. And then I agree 1,000,000% with the Amazon. Actually, when I saw it dip today, I was like, yep, I'm about to grab some of that up. And I think I've just decided that, one, like you said, Johnny, it's so long that like if I just add to my position often and just forget about it, I mean, I don't know that you can lose, right?
To me, it's a savings account that's going to return. A savings account gives you about 0.1% right now. So even if you have $5 million, you're going to see like, I don't know, $100 in interest a year. Yeah. So fuck savings accounts. Yeah. Fuck CDs. Fuck all that shit. But Amazon to me is like a savings account. You can argue with me all you want. People
I agree.
Who don't believe in it, but
no,
whatever.
But that's why you're safest bet on something that almost like it'll probably turn into almost like its own index. I mean, that's basically it's going to get so big.
How
right?
Amazon Web Services did over $10 billion, guys.
Well, I use that for my site. It's amazing, Johnny.
So everything this guy does is amazing.
So like good.
I just truly don't understand how he does what he does. Like he is the one guy outside of Warren Buffett who's just, I understand what Warren does. He's the most disciplined human being ever, but like he's the one guy who always like catches you off guard and you're like, wow, like the way he can scale something so massively, so quick. I believe his next move is pharmacies all over the world. It's just unbelievable.
And remember they had that thing for a while where they talked about healthcare too, and then it's kind of went out of the news. But that I'm sure will come back around at some point. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, why is this not a $5,000 stock at some point, right? I mean,
yeah, there was a guy on this morning who said they were asking him what was wrong with Amazon's earnings report. He said nothing. It was fucking amazing. And then they were saying, where do you see the stock price going? He's like 3,000. They're like, when? He's like, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months. And he's like 2 to 3 years. I see it at 5,000-6,000.
I agree 100%. And I did the same thing you did a little bit earlier, but I sold like my stuff around like 1750 and I should have never done it, but I've learned my lesson now. That's the thing that stock teaches you.
Exactly.
Very fast.
Very fucking fast, bro. So here I got the sign.
All right, go ahead.
If you can't see it. So as a business, basically what we're posting is at the top, your safety is our top priority. And then it says social distancing. We've implemented social distancing policies, which markings on the floor, so you can safely shop and our employees can safely serve you. Store cleaning. We've enhanced and increased the frequency of our cleaning practices throughout the store. Checkout. We are disinfecting card readers after each and every purchase. Face coverings. We're requiring all employees to follow CDC guidelines for wearing PPE. Contactless pickup. If you prefer a zero contact experience, please call us at our number and you could do curbside pickup or delivery, and it's posted. Now you could see it in multiple places, so people kind of understand the deal. And I think every business needs to just be proactive and understand what's going on and post stuff like this.
That's cool, Johnny. Good work.
Yeah.
I got one other stock question for you. So I've never done it, but I've always wanted to, and I wanted your point on this about Berkshire A, Johnny.
Yeah.
That's and because it's now the first time I really was going to make a push for it, I was trying to get some of my old stock unrestricted to buy it. It was 163 when I tried to buy it, and I was not able to.
Yeah.
And it kind of operates. Obviously, that's Warren's stock. Now it's down from a high of
330, maybe 330.
Oh man, I think higher than that. And then now it's like, so the high on Berkshire A for you guys, this is Warren Buffett's company for you guys that aren't.
This is one share of stock.
One share of stock at the 52-week high is 347,000 a share. Today, it's 276,000 a share.
Okay.
But here's so now the 52-week low is 239. So it's within 40,000 or whatever of its low. So have you ever wanted to buy Berkshire A, Johnny? Or is
I did until I discovered one very simple fact. Warren Buffett
is 90.
I'm sorry, I don't want to say this, but odds say he's going to die soon.
Yeah, that's agreed. He keeps saying that his guy that
Charlie Munger is older than him, I think.
Yeah. Well, they're saying the next guy in line's better than him, but
yeah,
like,
no one's better than him.
Exactly.
In the history of stock trading, no one's better than him.
Yeah, exactly. So it's almost impossible to have
network.
It's almost impossible, in your opinion, you think, for it to continue in this type of,
I don't think anybody anyone will stick to, anyone has ice in their veins, even if it's billion. No one understands long-term investing like Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
No one. And it's so easy to understand. And that's why money and emotion, you see it cross paths. That dude will sink money into the airlines at $40-$50, which is a huge problem. He did sell some of it, but he took a hit. But he'll just sit on fucking 30-40 billion for 20 years.
It's so
but it'll turn the corner. Like he understands, like, dude, the market is cyclical. I'm not getting caught up in the day to day. And that's unreal. You could say, oh, you need big money to do that, but this dude built this fucking empire from I think $10,000. Like, it's unbelievable.
And then having cash on hand when the opportunities are there, he's always known to have, 100 billion sitting around to go, boom, I'm going to go own another 3% of American Airline or Delta or whatever it is.
A part of your portfolio always has to be liquid. Yep. Because when shit hits, or like government bonds, like I had my financial advisor was basically like, hey man, the market just fucking went down. This was like a month ago. 20% of your fucking holding here is in bonds, and those didn't get hit. They're basically like cash. And I'm like, dude, fucking liquidate half of those bitches and go buy equities. Like, You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just it.
Yeah. I wondered if we'd never talked about that. I always aspired to buy one, but like you said, when he hit 90, I'm just like, no, people really going to stick around for this? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's all right. Yeah. Next question. Oh, this is from F45 Training. They just want to know, how's the workouts in the quarantine, John? How's John Fosco's workouts been in the quarantine?
F45. There's one right down the street from here. That's a big chain now, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe it's one of the owners or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay. And what's the question?
They just want to know how the workouts have been during the quarantine, just like a personal question.
Yeah, honestly, better. So I fall into the category of, because I have I can't do as much as I used to do because of a torn pec, a torn lat, and a torn bicep. There's only certain things I could do. So when I was working out before, I was doing just kind of classic bodybuilding workouts. You know what I'm saying? And you realize how weak those are. Sure, you can get strong, right? But like, you realize how they don't tax you from a fatigue standpoint. They don't make your fucking shirt like, and your pants drip with sweat. They're not that intense until you change it. So my workouts, honestly, and my body and everything have improved since this quarantine, because I've been combining kind of cardio with minimal strength. And honestly, I'm in better shape during the quarantine than I was before. Now, sure, I'm not doing the carries like I was.
You probably miss those, don't you, Johnny?
I do miss those, but I'm under tension, 24 minutes during every workout, and that's a long time under tension.
Yeah, my workouts have been interesting because I've been testing so many different things to try to accommodate all the different variations of essential like members that want bands only or dumbbell. Like I was kind of saying in the beginning, like I had, very hard but classic like powerlifting, bodybuilding, and then dumbbells. I didn't have a lot of these other variations. So like always I try to test everything myself before I ever release anything. So I got a bunch of random workouts in a row where I was testing one version of this, and then the next day I'm doing this. I was doing 2 days. But what I've really enjoyed about it is, one, I think I understand the situation of what needs to happen from a content standpoint because of this. And then
Sure.
two, I've had a chance because I came off that really severe shoulder injury where I tore my supraspinatus, ruptured it. And so like it's given me a chance to really work on just some stuff to kind of fully get me back, because I don't feel like I have to push I have access to everything I do in the gym, but I forced myself to do the same type of workouts so I could be in the content creation mode. So I have the same aspect as everyone else. And it's actually allowed me to kind of back off the gas a little bit, because I really don't know how to, like, I don't have a governor, right? That's just not how I operate. So it kind of forced me to kind of take it a little bit slower, not really care as much about the weight, even though I do want to get back on the platform in 2020 and powerlift. But it's actually been really good for my body and just honestly, for my mind and my craft. I would say like my workouts maybe aren't as good because I don't have the competition in the gym. But I would say that like I think I've actually increased my knowledge in awareness of what I need to do as a professional because of it, though. So I've had like a, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. I know you're going to love this question. Suggestions and tips on how to form a good mastermind group. Maybe not the cheesy group, but like just get around probably maybe other people. Well, first off, mastermind is like such an overused term. There's actually a true mastermind, but I want to hear what you got to say, Johnny.
I think it's not hard to think about people that you admire in a certain way. I don't know if admire is the right word, but look up to or respect.
Yeah,
their knowledge. Yeah, their knowledge in a certain place, right? So I'll give you an example. I bought a house down here from this dude who's younger than me, and I've been paying attention to what he's doing in this area from a development standpoint. Now, I don't know. I think he's like 34.
I remember meeting that guy that one time. He's sharp.
Yeah. He's massacring it. And him and his group are taking over a lot of the residential stuff. And he's a person that I respect, and I don't understand his profession, although I'd like to understand development. So if I were to form a mastermind group, because I respect his knowledge and I've dealt with him and I know how he operates and I know he's legit, I would look to him to bring in if I wanted to understand real estate development for sure. So I just think it's who you've seen, who you've dealt with, and who does things the right way and has knowledge that you don't. But you also have to be aware that you have to have knowledge that benefits them. Yeah. You can't just be a taker. You have to contribute as well. So yeah, I mean, that's how I would identify people.
John, have you ever like actually said, hey, to a person like this guy who I remember meeting, is like, I would like to have like, once a month, like sit down and just rap about stuff. Have you ever reached out and done that with anyone before on a regular basis that were business partners? Because a lot of times you've been around peers that have probably shared stuff like we do, but somebody you don't work with.
I haven't, and I think maybe it's because maybe it's because I'm thinking people think like me, which could be a mistake. So, for example, if I took that situation and I was him, right,
Yeah.
and then I said, okay, this guy bought a house from me that was worth X. This guy has a business down here. If I open my book of knowledge to him and he lives down here, I'm pretty sure he has investment capital. I don't want to create someone who's clearly already aggressive to compete with. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I'm disqualifying myself from that knowledge, but I haven't because of that. Now, I'm not
Yeah.
saying that's right,
Yeah.
but yeah. So the answer would be no, but I'm not saying I'm right.
Yeah. I did this recently, actually, for the first time in a while, where I have a friend that is a part owner of multiple dealerships, and he had worked as a GM. His name's Billy, really good dude. And I just saw, like, since I've lived here, I've seen his career just continue to go up. And then he got into a big ownership group, and he's running a few dealerships. And I was like, you know what, man? I was like, out of all the people I run into, I was like, I really think you and I have the most in common, but we don't ever really talk like that because we're in like social situations, like with our families or, with our wives or whatever. I was like, man, I know you're dealing on levels. Like, I'm around, like, we should just literally try to meet for coffee or whatever, a beer once a week, and just, probably can share things with each other that you can't share with other friends because they don't really operate on a seven-figure level, right? So,
Yeah.
and the other thing is there's no emotion to it. So it's like,
wiggle.
Yeah, you already know. So it's like because there's no emotion to it because we're not in each other's space at all, right? It's completely different. And honestly, we've only done it a couple times, but it's been really cool because I can tell he's like, it was one of the first things he said to me. He's like, man, I really got something. I'm excited about a goal that he hit that he couldn't share at work because then you create haterism potentially.
Can't share with your friends.
Can't share with your friends. Exactly, Johnny.
The hater rate is running through the cooler.
Oh boy, right? And so that
fakers.
So there is a high amount of a value in that. If you find somebody that's in a different, or eventually, Johnny, I think you could represent an investment category for that guy once you even respect him more. So you might even be thinking about it wrong. Like, you're not going to go do exactly what he does. But what happens if he's like, yo, you know what? We got 100 spot. You can jump in on this. You'd probably be like, yo, let me see that. So you know what I'm saying? But I think there's a lot of mastermind's an overused term. So I never use it. I just never fucking use it because Carnegie and those guys was talking about real masterminds. Actually getting with peer motherfuckers to get better and to push yourself forward and to get in a like-minded room. A lot of these motherfuckers are just making money off this term.
They get on Instagram. They spend $40 to buy folding chairs or rent folding chairs. They buy a couple cakes from the store and they have their loser friends who are a general manager at Best Buy speak, and then they put all the content online. They might fucking get a helicopter to fucking go over and say, oh, we're having this big retreat, where you can build your own fucking whatever. No, you are a faker. You're a faker.
But I would, Johnny, I would say, man, you should try that. With that's why I wonder, because that doesn't seem like something you would normally naturally do. So I think it'd be interesting.
I normally want to figure it out myself and then beat them.
No, I know that about you. That's why I said it. But so, for me, I was always intrigued by the car industry because I'm a car guy. So like, I always was intrigued by that business. And even just like, you see all those cars on the lot, you're like, how's those lines work with the, industry? Like, I was always intrigued by
allotment.
The
allotment, the margin, I'm, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I was intrigued to ask this dude questions. And so anyway, that's how I would represent a mastermind. If you have somebody locally or with these type of, the streams you can do, you ask somebody respectfully that you think you can also, and in Flip, he would ask me like, yo, on Facebook marketing, we're like a country dealership. Like, how would you, he had an opportunity with Joey Burrow. He's like, how would you, potentially market that? And I was like, I gave him some ideas. He didn't end up doing it, but at the end of the day, it was like, I was able to share something back, vice versa. And it was pretty cool.
Shit, Joey Burrow. I'd be like, buy a fucking car, get a phone call from fucking Joey.
I know. Well, it was more like Joey's dad. And then it was kind of, how those deals are, Johnny.
Joey's dad thinks he's the agent.
Yeah. before he signs with the agent. I know, jump in there.
Come on. Yeah, I know.
All right. So I think that was good dialogue though. All right. From Chazzle Dazzle 123.
Great fucking name.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah. What do you think about incentive bonuses for hourly employees and salespeople?
Mandatory. If you're hourly, you're making a very modest income. Salespeople,
it's a must.
Right? What are you going to do? Say, here's $15 an hour. Now go sell a bunch of shit. If there's no incentive, I'm just going to take my I'm not saying me, I'm saying how most people think. I'm just going to take my 15 an hour and I'm not going to give a fuck what I sell. Right? You have to give them incentives. And at the end of the day, incentives are so easy, right? Because if you sell something, you can process the margin on it in your head. If they get a percentage of it and the business gets the huge percentage of it, the business is winning. So let both people fucking win. You guys, you cannot be a pig. People have to be able to make money. People can't fucking survive on hourly wages, especially nowadays, dude. The cost of everything keeps going up. Hourly wages are not going up. Incentives have to be there, but they're not hard to figure out how to structure. They have the individual has to win accordingly, and the business is always the big winner. So I believe the more the merrier.
Yeah. So if everything's growing, then everybody can eat for sure. It's not the KPIs, right? What the hell does that stand for? I should know. What the fuck's that?
Who?
Do you know what's KPI stand for, John? Isn't that what they usually use for, like, in a corporate environment? That's usually what they, I remember back in the day, I never knew what the acronym stood for, but they're like the KPIs, which was what they had to meet for that quarter so they could get their bonus. But I don't ever remember what it stood for. See, this is what's funny.
That's like fake news.
That's probably like a general business term that like most people know what it means. I actually was instituting KPIs, but I can't tell you what it actually means.
Fake news network.
That's terrible.
Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Yeah, right. All right, John. We got to wrap this up with kind of State of the Union real quick. All right, so
from POTUS.
State of the Union from
Clorox bleach.
State of the Union from John and Corey. A lot of people are starting.
Are you Mike Pence or am I Mike? I don't want to be Mike Pence.
I cannot label myself in any of this administration.
Can you be Fauci?
I think I'm like I can't. I don't even know who I am.
How about Deborah Burke? So are you Deborah?
I don't even know who that is. But here's what I'm gonna say. What I wanted to pose is that people are getting more aggressive, I would say, about everything just opening back up, like all the way. Are you leaning?
More aggressive in what way?
It seems like the dialogue online, guys like Elon Musk even speaking out, like basically do it right now, all bets off. Let's get this fucker moving. Which way do you lean towards, Johnny? Obviously, you're a capitalist, just like me. We want to make money, but it's like,
it's a deep question. But I mean, to me, I touched on this last episode, and I get people saying, enough. You've shut it down, and I want to go out there and don't tell me what to do. It's my body, it's my risk. If I get it, I get it. I believe that we need leadership to protect people who are older. So for those who are younger, I get it, and I agree with it. But the problem is again, I'll say this a million times, there is no outside the box thought on how to really centrally control this thing and say, okay, here are the fucking rules, and the rules are based on the data, and the data is the mortality rate for those people who get it. So if you're fucking 25 years old and the mortality rate, if you get it, is 0.18%, I get it. Go back to work. Totally. But if you're 70 years old, as a country, we're going to tell you that we don't want you to die, and we're going to put laws in place that may be inconvenient, okay? And maybe we need to put government assistance financially in place if you work or whatever it is, more social, whatever it may be, to protect you. And I'm sorry, but we're America, and we don't want our at-risk group to die. So for younger people, for healthy people, I get it. Let's go back to work. But here's the thing. I am not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. And I'm not the president. I could be horribly wrong. I could be horribly wrong. I'm just trying to make the best with the disgusting leadership we have. And I'll say it again, disgusting. So for me, that's the camp I fall in. But I wish, and I think history will tell the tale of one of the biggest botched issues this country has ever seen in its history. Ever.
Yeah, I really, the direction. I mean, because I really need to be led a little bit. I mean, I really believe that on what, if it had analytics behind it, then I could believe that what I'm doing is safe. And that right there is probably, obviously, John, we have, kind of different situations where we could probably hang a little bit longer, right, in this type of thing. But at the end of the day, like, if I remember early in my career, if I had to be at the gym wiping every ounce of the carpet and to make it safe so I could work, so I could feed my young 2 kids, I'd be doing it, bro. And because I'd have no choice. And so it's like one of those things.
Protect yourself with masks. Here's the word. Let me tell you the worst fucking thing. The worst fucking thing is that, I call him Flaccid Mike. Mike Pence, Trump likes nicknames. Flaccid Mike, because he reminds me of a flaccid penis. But anyways, so Flaccid Mike goes over to the Mayo Clinic, one of our best hospitals in the country. And Flaccid Mike does not wear a fucking mask. He's in a hospital. Think of it. So it's not about his protection. It's about all those fucking people in the hospital. If this flaccid penis was a carrier, and he didn't know it, this is our vice president, dude. Number 2, walking through a fucking hospital who told him, the Mayo Clinic told him, hey, it's policy. You have to wear a mask. Well, fucking, the orange orangutan who likes fucking McDonald's and fucking tweeting as he shits at 5 a.m. He told him, oh, we don't wear masks. We don't wear masks. I've never been, again, I keep getting more and more embarrassed. I've never been so embarrassed. That's our number 2. And he's not wearing a mask during a pandemic in a hospital. What the fuck is that? I'm sorry. If you're one of those people, don't tell me. Okay, then don't go in the Mayo Clinic.
Yeah.
There's people who have cancer. There's people who have COVID. And there's doctors who put their life on the line. Don't tell me you get tested, motherfucker. Because if you get tested at 10 a.m., you could have it at 2 p.m. And everyone's looking up to you because you're the VP, you flaccid fuck.
Sorry, I didn't mean to give you a heart attack, Johnny.
No. I mean, can you believe that? Can you believe that? Can you imagine being another country and just saying, look at those stupid fucking Americans. Look how stupid they are.
Well, and like, I have opinions about how we should operate, and it would be awesome to be led towards analytics and understand what we could do to really be safe. I mean, that's the truth, and it is upsetting, and we'll see how it unfolds, but shit, we just got to do our best. I don't know. The other thing is, I feel myself getting more lax, Johnny, a little bit, meaning like I was washing my hands 9 times a day. I don't really go anywhere, but still, like, I feel like as things are starting to open up, I have to keep checking myself, like, no, you still need to sanitize. You still got to be, even when I go to get gas or whatever, like I'm saying, like people are going to get lax quick. I'm like super disciplined at like basic stuff. Like I already feel myself getting lax, and I'm not doing it on purpose. It's like happening, and that's going to happen when people open back up. I just know it. No one's going to be right. Cause that's a natural way.
But just think about how generic, and I've been one to say on this podcast, the only thing that we know that has worked is isolation, but all these things, right? Think how rudimentary they are. If you're going to sneeze, do it into a tissue, wash your hands, stay home. Think how, these are a third grader can come up with these solutions. So
these are things I tell Andon to do.
Correct.
Anyway.
Correct. So this is our defense against the pandemic. So is that really a defense, or is it because our leadership is so pathetic that they don't know what else to say, that they say social distancing is the most important thing, and then they go up and get on a stage and they're 2 feet away from each other? I swear to God, this is made for Saturday Night Live.
Oh no! If you're a writer at Saturday Night Live, this is like licking your chops, bro. I could be a writer. I could be a writer for Saturday Night Live.
It's unbelievable. You have this Surgeon General who's also a flaccid fuck who just repeats that I put out a manual that says he's social distancing, he's social distance, and everybody, you follow the guidelines that Vice President Pence put out. 30 days to slow the spread. You are the Surgeon General. The surgeon, you are the #1 doctor in our country. What the fuck? I mean, honestly, like, what's happening? Yeah. My Vice President Pence, 30 days to slow the spread. It's a PDF I could have made when I was in kindergarten. What the fuck?
Read the chart, John. Read the chart.
Dude, I don't know what's happening. What the fuck?
Well, we'll wrap it up. Thanks for the State of the Union, John. Guys, send your questions in on IG. Leave us a 5-star review. Share it with your friends.
Tell Mike Pence he's not allowed to watch this fucking show.
Johnny Fosco!
Gee.
Can the podcast be stopped?
The podcast can't be stopped!
All right. Jacob Holland says key performance indicator. That's what that means, by the way. He left a comment. It's one of the dudes from the 4am crew. That's hilarious. I didn't know what that meant.
Shout out to the crazy.
Yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1. On this episode, back to Q&A. We're having fun. We're talking about workouts. We're talking about future entrepreneurs. We're talking about all kinds of things that's going to give you value and excitement. And John's got some stories. I mean, some amazing stories.
John's sweating. Okay. John's sweating. John's unhappy.
John spilled shit on himself.
I spilled everywhere. I have an AK-47, like very close to me right now. Just listen to the fucking show.
Yeah. Let's go to it.
Yeah.
That's the best intro ever.
Yeah.